what's happening. So here we are, we're sitting in this room together. Then everyone is lost in some story in their head. Maybe not, but very likely so. It is true that most of our stories are about what might happen next. Or what just happened a few minutes ago. Almost as if silence was something scary. Sitting together in this room, when is he going to talk? Why doesn't he say anything? Why doesn't he do anything either? Maybe I should just go. It's an option. You can just go. Because nothing is happening really. Either our eyes are directed towards the future or the past, or around us, the space around us, looking at objects, trying to find something that is interesting also, entertaining. The next thing. And if the next thing doesn't seem to come, then it's kind of uncomfortable. Nothing is going on. It's funny, isn't it? We're just sitting here like a bunch of human beings, and a bunch of bodies in a room. And then the mind is thinking about this situation. Making stories. So making friends with that silence is something very worthwhile and very powerful. Notice how uncomfortable it is to be still. even just from the physical side, to be quiet. Not to move the body every minute, adjusting all the time. I'm not even talking about the mind just yet. Just the body is very uncomfortable. It's constantly creating some sort of issue that needs to be solved and needs to be fixed. And you fix it one time, the next one comes up right away. Being a direct result of your current solution. Every solution turns into the next problem. Then we need to find another solution, and it turns into the next problem. You can observe that. You just sit somewhere quietly and look at the body. How is the body like? How is it like having a body? Constantly needs something, the body. Always needs something. Food, movement. So we learn as a first step really to stay quiet with the body, to stay still. Not to move the body all the time, but to cultivate stillness in the body. It's not so easy in the beginning. You can do that step by step, slowly, slowly. Taking your time, working up to it until you can actually sit quiet for a long time. Because the body will be always uncomfortable. And if we don't learn to keep the body quiet, then we can never transcend the body, going beyond the body in the realm of what we experience. The experience of your body begins to shut down when you're not moving it. It's also, by the way, just a little trick if you suffer from insomnia. Don't move your body. Stay in the bed and don't move. Stay perfectly still with the body. Do a breathing exercise or something like this, but stay perfectly quiet. And then your brain will try to check. It has its own kind of way of checking in with the body. Are you ready to be paralyzed? It's the question of the brain. Can you be paralyzed? And it will check in with you by giving you an itchy sensation or the urge to turn around. You want to feel like, I really need to move. I want to turn to the left or turn to the right. That might be much more comfortable. It's your brain's way of checking in. Are you ready to be paralyzed? Or are you still awake? Because your brain doesn't really know whether your consciousness is still fully in the body or not. So it needs to kind of check. It does its checks. Are you ready to be sent to sleep? If you're not moving the body, yes, obviously. You're ready to be sent to sleep. So stay quiet. It's a good way to fall asleep faster. Bring your attention to the breath, knowing when you're breathing in, knowing when you're breathing out, but don't move the body. Now, same thing happens in meditation. It's a bit more difficult, though, to send the body, so to say, to sleep in its very own way. We have to keep it quiet. You can think of the body like a glass and the mind like water in it. If you're moving the glass, the water moves. Each time you move the body, the mind moves. So if you're keeping the body still, chances are good that you can actually go into a very quiet state with your mind too. That's why we learn and train to keep the body still. So train yourself like this. Don't give in to every little thing. The body says, my knee hurts, just lift it up a little bit. Don't. Wait. Stay still. Come back to the breath. Also throughout the day you can practice to keep the body relatively cool, calm in what you do. It requires a mindfulness to do so. So you're not moving nervously through life, but calm. In a way you can say it's almost like a noble type of moving through life. It's a noble, beautiful to see, calm, well composed. Instead of just bouncing around, constantly nervous, sitting down somewhere and your feet are going like ding 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 ding, constantly nervous. Always something to do with your fingers, always something. There's a lot of nervous energy. It's an incredible amount of tension in that body. There's a whole lot of needs to blink your eyes a lot, and it's a lot of tension. So we can bring mindfulness to the body throughout the daily activities and learn to relax upon the out-breath and to stay calm wherever you are, to stay still. If you're sitting on a bench, just sit completely still. Don't entertain yourself, just sit there. There's so many opportunities for these kind of exercises. Sure, you want to make sure that you're not in a position or posture that is harmful to the body and then rest still in that. But to be in a good posture, in a relaxed way, and then relax into that. Sink into that. Thereby cultivating a bit more presence also. You need to know that you're here to do that. Then after that, it's a bit more easy to still the mind. And once the mind starts to still, to become quiet, calm down, you will start to forget the body. And this starts with a pleasant sensation throughout the body. It's a funny thing that happens. First, you might be quite in some severe pain, and you do your meditation, you don't move, you just constantly bring your attention back to the breath. And suddenly, all the pain in the body turns into pleasure. And then you forget the body, slowly. I can't tell you exactly why that happens, but it happens. It's quite a well-known fact for people who do meditation on a bit of a deeper level than usual. You'll notice that if you stay quiet, that is your escape, actually. You can get out of the body. It's a very pleasant sensation. Forgetting the body. It's like going to sleep. You also forget your body. You couldn't dream if you still know that your body is in a bed. All the fancy stuff you're doing at night wouldn't work in that case. So you need to forget the body. So you already know that instinctively, actually. You know how that feels like to drop the body. However, we don't know how it feels like to maintain consciousness throughout that process. That's a difficult task. So, and that is what we learn by doing the meditation practice. You learn, you drop the body and you maintain consciousness. So for many times when you do your meditation practice, you will notice there is some sort of verge. Like you can go to the left, you can go to the right. On the left side, you go into deeper levels of meditation. On the right side, you go to sleep. It's pretty similar for many people. If your mental energy is not yet strong, you will feel it and experience it as sleep. You'll go into sleep, you lose consciousness. Happens for many people. You do your meditation, you're tired, you have no energy, your mind has no energy, your body has no energy, boop, you go to sleep. Do a lot of work, maybe. During the daytime, you sit down in the evening. But if your mind has already built some energy, you can also sit down after work and you do your meditation, and it's kind of refreshing, actually. It's like taking a short nap, a power nap or something. It gives you more energy. Now, there are several ways of causing that to happen, because it's not really something that you can make happen. It's more something that you need to allow to happen. You need to get out of the way more and more so your mind can relax. So the inner control freak needs to become more quiet. The wish to be in control, the wish to do the meditation, that needs to tune down so you don't really operate from that sense of doing anymore, but it's more a sense of just being and relaxing into that beingness. Relaxing into the breath, to the exclusion of everything else. Very pleasant, very invigorating and nice process, actually. But in order to actually enter that process, we need to build energy. So how do we build energy? What can we do to actually build energy? So, number one, it needs to be a good lifestyle. You need to have a good lifestyle. Very important. Lifestyle is the same old thing. I've been talking about it many, many times. Who do you associate with? Who do you surround yourself with? Are those nervous, stressed out people who are constantly complaining? Then you will take on that energy also. It's not very helpful. So it's very important with who we spend time. And then also, what do we watch? Nowadays, I think almost everyone goes online. And then what type of stuff do you watch? It does something to you. Some people watch the news, they're watching politics all the time, and look on Facebook or YouTube, look at any political video and watch the commentaries below. What a mess. What a mess. It's a mess. It very quickly always goes into racism and terrorism, no matter what kind of video. And people bash each other and are so hateful to each other and not even knowing each other. It's ridiculous that we're spending time like this, and then also reading through this is also a waste of time, you know. Even reading these kind of commentaries is a waste of time. And it shapes, it colors your mental state. It gives it a color, a feeling tone, an emotional tone. Your mind is then taking on this energy and becomes slightly more aggressive, maybe, or unhappy, sad. This world is a messy place. So then you're losing energy right there. How do you know that you're losing mental energy? You do not feel happy. How do you know that you're gaining mental energy? You feel happy. How do you know that you have a lot of physical energy, well, easy to know. You're fit, you're active, you're healthy. How do you know that you have a lot of mental energy? You're happy. There's an overall sense of well-being. You feel good, happy, in a good mood, like when you were last in love. Do you remember? Last time you were really in love with someone? How did you feel? You felt good. It gives you energy. This good sensation, this good feeling, it gives people energy. They float through life when they're in love. Things are easier. They go to work, it's easy, it's a piece of cake. No problem. Even someone not being nice with you, you don't care. It doesn't touch you really because you're in love. Us against the world. No one can do us any harm, you know. You feel safe, you feel protected, you feel good. You feel a sense of well-being, goodness. When you're grateful, immediately also it shifts your energy, appreciative of your present circumstances. Most of the time we don't even notice just how good it is. Maybe some of us would have to be ripped out of this room and beamed over into a war zone just for 10 minutes to appreciate this room. But we're fortunately not in that situation. But we forget. We are just in a room. We don't even notice we're in a room most of the time. Because we're in our head. We're lost in our stories of what might happen, what did happen. So it's important to shift back to mindfulness and then notice that things that are giving you uplifting feelings, happiness, joy, gratitude, kindness, compassion, these are big ones. So what 4 things can we cultivate to build pleasure, happiness, and joy? Number 1 is called Metta. It is kindness, loving kindness. This is one translation. Maybe we can stick to the word Metta because translating those words then gives it the taste that we have from our own language and our own culture. Let's just stick to Metta. It's a sense of benevolence, friendliness towards something. You're wishing something well. Or someone. Wishing yourself well. Feeling softness towards someone or something. Allowing, even I would say is metta, allowing something to exist. It's a very kind thing to do, really. Allowing something to be. And of course, it must be the first thing that you allow to be. What would that be? It's yourself. How many times do we spend in a normal day actually criticizing ourselves and fixing ourselves and trying to manipulate ourselves so in some way we then might become a different self which we project into the future, which of course is better than anything that I have right now in the present. Like this, we cannot grow into a kinder person. It doesn't work. I've tried for 13 years and I failed miserably. I did a healing session with a very good friend, Sashino Andy. He did a dissolve session with me, and by the end of this session, a sentence just escaped my mouth, and it was, I hate myself. It was quite a surprise, I must say. After so many years of actually having practiced meditation and studied and learned and spent with admirable friends and so forth, then this comes out. It was a big surprise. And so I noticed then who is doing the meditation. And for me, most of the time, self-hate did the meditation. I didn't notice because I was so focused on the meditation, the technique. I was so busy, so lost in the technique and the various approaches and what I had studied, that I forgot who did the meditation. And it was a delusion doing the meditation. So I encourage all of you to look very, very well who sits right now and does the practice. Is it self-hate or is it kindness? And I almost guarantee that Andy's response was, yeah, almost everyone has that. Almost everyone hates themselves. It's not a big miracle really to see that. Why would we all hate ourselves? Where does that come from? You look at how we are raised. It's never good enough. You wouldn't want to buy anything if you don't feel a sense of lack, sense of unworthiness or fear. You wouldn't consume if it wasn't for a sense of, my life is not good enough the way it is, I need to put more stuff into it, then it'll be good. It all comes from a sense of lack. It's how advertisers operate. They catch you by suggesting you need this. They don't tell you the real reason why you need it. But they just say that when you have it, you will be happy. But the real reason would be, when you have it for a while, you forget that you actually hate yourself. That you don't like yourself. Am I going too far with this? You can put it to the test. Sit in one room, lock the door, no distraction. Stay with yourself. Don't go to sleep. What will happen? Will you enjoy your presence? You have to try that out to know. It's called doing a retreat. In retreats you go and then you lock the door and you're in your room and there you are. And after a few hours it's unbearable. You desperately want to do stuff. Because being is just such a mess. And then it is revealed, all the hate. Oh gosh, I wish I was a different person. Why do I have to feel this? Oh, why am I thinking so much? God, just focus on the breath, damn it. Distracted again. I'm such a loser. It's revealed in this kind of attitude. How do you see yourself? How do you approach yourself? How do you meditate when you're sitting in this room? My body is hurting. This body, I should do more yoga. Then it'll be better then. I haven't done my practice for the last week. How we feel about ourselves most of the time. This is important to see. So we bring in a sense of allowing. Giving ourselves space to just be. I consider that the pinnacle of metta, actually. It goes beyond a state of doing something to myself and then doing something to others, sending them white light and energy to heal them. It feels very nice and feels very correct, and it is okay, it is good, it is beneficial, but it still lacks because it looks at the world and it says, oh, the world should be happy. It should be different. And I am going to make it different. It comes from this sense of righteousness, and I have this noble wish, and I impose it upon you. I give you that happiness, Maybe it's a good idea to do that, but instead of saying, may you be happy, may you be well, say, may a positive energy in the universe give you exactly what you need to find peace. Rather than me being here and me giving you the energy, ask for it. Also, like something that I like to do is, for example, to ask for loving kindness to enter my being and for loving kindness to give the teaching. Not Tobi. Tobi giving the teaching is not a very good scenario, actually. It's better if kindness is giving a teaching, or if compassion is giving a teaching, or emptiness. But Tobi, you need to be careful with that one. So you can ask for that, you can ask for a blessing. May the right words leave my mouth, so that all of your hearts are receiving exactly what you need. I trust that. Now the second uplifting energy is compassion. You could express metta as the wish for being's happiness, then compassion is the wish for the freedom of suffering. You see suffering and you then have a wish to be free from it, for yourself and for others. And again, metta and karuna, both as loving kindness and compassion, they're sharing this quality of allowing a person to suffer also, and allowing yourself to suffer also. That is compassion, yes. Mitgefühl. Compassion, empathy. You can understand suffering and you allow it. This is more difficult actually, because when we see suffering, we immediately go again into the doing mode. I need to get rid of this. It's out of place. It's wrong. Shouldn't be there. But compassion is able to receive that. And through receiving it, creative action might arise to heal the situation. Through that compassion. It's a very skillful energy. Now, the third is called Mudita. Mudita means something like sympathetic joy. You're able to rejoice in your own wholesome qualities as well as in the wholesome qualities of those around you. In the Tibetan tradition, my teacher always said this is the most easy way of making merit. It is rejoice in people doing positive things. Feel happy about it. Someone having success, rejoice in it. It's free. And it's easy. Can you? It's also a direct antidote to jealousy, actually. Kindness, direct antidote to anger. Compassion, direct antidote to cruelty. And yes, we all have these energies. Mudita is direct antidote to jealousy, feeling that, or comparing yourself with others all the time. Oh, that guy's below me, that guy's above me, that guy's the same. If you feel about someone else being like you the same way, then we normally enter a state of competition. If someone is seemingly below you, you enter a state of pride, feel superior, better than others. someone is seemingly below you, you enter in this kind of pitiful, it's not compassion, it is pity. You feel, oh, poor guy. In a way, you're happy that you're above him, that you're better. But it looks like, you're very compassionate. Oh, poor guy. But there is a sense of joy also. So that reveals its falseness. Real compassion doesn't suffer with someone. It is very uplifting for yourself or others. It doesn't add additional suffering to the picture. Now the fourth quality is the quality of equanimity. Gleichmut. So equanimity is a state in which you can say it's one of the jhana states, one of the deeper absorptions, where the mind is fully balanced. I have no idea, I don't know it. But on a more conventional level, equanimity means that you're not making differences between good and bad, left and right. This differentiating mind is not operating there. And so in the sense of relating to other people here and just building energy in normal everyday life, you let go of seeing other people as friends, enemies, or neutral. So you're not relating to other people as a friend anymore, or as an enemy, or as a neutral kind of, I don't know that guy. But you see every living being as exactly in the same position. We all want to be happy, and nobody wants to suffer. That's what we all share. Every single living being shares that wish on the deepest level. All of us here in this room, we all want to be happy. We want to be comfortable, at ease, and safe. Not one of us here in this room looks for suffering. Nobody wants to be ill. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to lose loved ones. Nobody. Nobody wants to suffer. And we all share that. Every living being in this world shares that. To see that, you stop comparing yourself with other people. I'm better, I'm worse. Ajahn Brahm said this very nice statement that there are 3 types of egos. I'm better than others, I'm worse than others, and we're all the same. All 3 of them are not true. You're not better than anyone else, you're not worse than anyone else. When it comes to the fundamental driving force of the universe, or of the beings inhabiting this universe, it is just simply the wish for happiness. It's what we all share. And if you can see that in yourself, and you can see that in other people, things become quite more clear. And you also notice that friends can turn into enemies, enemies can turn into friends. People you don't know can turn into friends, and then again into enemies, and then again into people you don't know. Continuously changing. There are no real enemies or friends around you. It is your attitude making people into enemies or friends. Including yourself. You can become your own enemy, your own friend, as absurd that is, but it seems to work. So with equanimity, that is balanced out. There is no more such unnecessary multiplicity that leads to so much suffering. So we want to cultivate those 4 states. This is a direct cause of energy. It is uplifting. It gives you happiness and joy. If you have happiness and joy, it is already an expression that you are well nourished mentally. Your heart is well nourished. Depression is a sign that you're starving. Your heart is starving. It's so empty. Love, kindness, compassion, positive actions, uplifting actions are all building energy. Therefore, we should cultivate that in abundance. You can never do enough good. There's so many opportunities to go around and do good things. Being nice to other people, helping them when they need help, being available, offering smiles, donating money to good causes and so forth. There's so much we can do. Do it. It'll make you feel better. It'll make others feel better around you. It lifts the general energy of this planet. And when you have more energy, which is then manifesting as happiness, you will have an easy time meditating. I would say we're not really meditating in order to be happy later, but first be happy, otherwise your meditation will not work out. You will not be successful. If you're unhappy, you can't meditate. So that's why we have this aspect of sila, of practicing a good moral conduct. Doing or making a positive difference in whatever way you can. It'll take all the emphasis away of that miserable me that feels so miserable. And so instead it builds energy by helping, benefiting, and so forth. Okay, so I think that's enough for today.